web browser that I'm using, and there's Canva. I'm going to enlarge the screen, and here is the 8-page editable template Sasha that came along with this course. We are going to break this thing down. This is really kind of improv for me. The beautiful thing about templates is that you are able to manipulate and customize them any way that you choose. So if you decide that you want to create your obituary exactly like the template and just switch out pictures, by all means do so. The template is yours. If you want to delve deeper into it and break it down and just use it as a roadmap when it comes to positioning, color, elements, fonts, those types of things, by all means do so. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to just go with the flow. Just I'm going to show you some different design techniques, some different hacks, some different ways of doing things, but that will not take away from the fact that this template is yours and you're able to play with it. So without further ado, let's get into Sasha. So here you have the 8-page template, which page 1 would be the cover page. Page 2 is kind of like the intro of Sasha's story, which moves into page 3, which is the actual obituary. Page 4 would be the order of service. Page 5 is a poem. Page 6 and 7 are photo grids. Page 8 would be the back page. Okay, so again, you can keep it as is and just change out your photographs and add whatever photographs and or date or written content that you choose. But for the sake of this, because I want to get very detailed and show you that there are endless possibilities when it comes to customizing your template. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the cover page, which is page 1. And you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this page, and I'm going to add a page. And the added page is going to be the same base color or background color to the entire template. I'm going to move this up, and you'll see where I'm moving it and why. I want this to be positioned between both of the cover pages, the original cover page and the one that I duplicated, and it is. So as you can see, page 1 is the original cover page. Page 2 is the one that we duplicated, and page 3 is the one that we duplicated, and page 2 is what I like to call my scratch paper. Okay, so you'll see why I have scratch paper and the benefits of it and all those good things. So instead of taking apart the original template cover page, the reason why I duplicated that page so that we can take this one apart without losing our place or not having anything to guide. So I'm just going to start removing elements from the duplicated cover page as I take this thing apart. So I started with the doves, and now I'm going to remove the church information. I'm going to remove the transparent gradients that I have down at the bottom. I'm going to keep this, okay? And as you can see, a lot of the things that they're grouped, and we'll get into grouping a little further into this. I'm going to move that up to my scratch page to get it completely out of the way. One of the reasons why I have the scratch page. I'm also going to take this glitter element, and I'm going to move that up to my scratch page. All right, the name Sasha, I'm going to completely get rid of that, and you'll see why, because I'm going to show you how to create that and group it all together, which will help with the alignment, making sure that everything is perfectly aligned. I'm going to get rid of this second photo. I'm going to get rid of this bokeh background that I had strategically placed at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to remove the border from the top of the page. Okay, it was not at the bottom, and anything else that needs to go. The only thing I'm going to keep is going to be the original photo of Sasha and the background, which is this very dark burgundy. Okay, I'm going to keep that. All right, so now as far as I'm concerned, we're down to the bare minimum. All we have is the background canvas and the photo of our model, or Sasha. I'll just refer to her as Sasha. But also keep in mind, you still have page 1 that is fully intact, all right? So you can go back and look at it, check out placements and all those different types of things when it comes to designing your template. So I want to do something different with this, because again, the beautiful thing about a template is that you're able to customize this any way that you choose. Again, if you want to stick with the original and just switch out photographs, change out written content, by all means do so, because let me reiterate once again, it is yours to do whatever it is you choose to do. But I want to show you that there's endless possibilities when it comes to creating an obituary. So basically, I guess what I'm saying, or what I'm getting ready to do, is we're going to create one from scratch. All right. So let's go down to page 3. I'm even going to get rid of the model. So we're down to just the bear. All right. So in your download, you should have received a file folder that contained poems, acknowledgement, and a variation of different AI generated backgrounds, elements, photographs, all these wonderful different types of things. If you have not uploaded them to your canvas, I would encourage you to do so that they are readily available when you need it. I'm just getting rid of some of these transparent gradients. Okay. So that it's readily available when you need it. I'm going to go over to my uploads because we're going to change out the background altogether. Me personally, heaven seen backgrounds are really not my favorite. However, I do get a lot of requests for heaven seen backgrounds from my family. So when I generate via AI, when I generate these heaven seen backgrounds, I try to, just generate heaven seen backgrounds that you don't see often, that are more elaborate, more lavish, more expressive, and I just kind of play around with them. So I did include some of those in your bundle set. So I'm just going to go down and I'm going to find a heaven seen background that catches my eye, and let's use this one. Initially, okay, let me stop. I've tried to record this video a couple times today, and I was 47 minutes in. I paused it so that I can take an intermission, and I was going to pick back up, but unfortunately it did not record sound, so I was ticked. So what I did is I decided to completely redesign the cover like we're getting ready to do right now, and I'm going to scroll down to add page, and I'm going to show you what I came up with. I'm going to go over to my projects, and let me see here. No, it did not. You know what? No, I'm not. We're just going to completely do this from the beginning. Okay, but I'm going to do what I initially did, but we're just going to do it from the beginning. Let me go back up here to page 3. All right, I'm going to go over to uploads. These are the various heaven scenes that I have that are actually in the bundle. So this is the one that I initially used. So I'm going to bring this up to the top of this page, and I'm going to expand it out to where it's going to cover the majority. Okay. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit, and I'm content with this. I want to make sure that I get that gold angel wing all the way in there. I'm content with that. Now, as you can see, there's a break in page. Here is the background that we just added, and then the bottom portion is the original, which is that burgundy. Now, we can do one of two things. We can completely change the color of that bottom page, and if you go over to colors, once you've highlighted that canvas, you go over to colors, and it's going to bring you up all these different options. So let's go to where it says photo colors right here. Click see all. Now, all these color swatches that you have right here are samples or extracted colors from the AI generated background that we have here. Okay. Those are all the different colors that are in there. My suggestion is to try to find one that's comparable to your added photograph so that everything blends. So if my memory serves me correct, I used a purple, and let's see, which one was it that I used? I believe it was that one. But you can play around and use whatever makes you happy. So if you want to use this muted lavender shade, do that. If you want to use this mauvish color, do that. If you want to use a more vibrant purple, whatever makes you happy, use whatever you want to use. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to stick with more of this eggplant color. um, mm, yeah, I'm gonna stick with more of this. No, let's see. mm, mm. Okay, I'm gonna stick with that one. Okay, now I'm gonna go over to elements. And this particular element, or these particular elements, you're going to see me use an awful lot in any and everything that I do. And that's the transparent gradient. I mean, it was already pre-populated because I use it so much. So I just clicked on transparent gradient, and I'm going to go to the graphics section of that, and I'm going to click see all. So I'm going to show you some of the different variations of the transparent gradients, but then I'm going to really focus on the one that I'm going to use for this particular template. This particular transparent gradient right here, you are able to manipulate the color and change the color out, okay? Where versus there are some where the color is preset. You can't change it. The color is preset. You know, now that I did that, let me just see so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Actually, that black's not too bad, but we're not going to use it. All right, so this one here, you're able to change to manipulate the color. So you're just going to go ahead and swing that around at a 90-degree angle. Bring it right here to fade out that harsh line. And then you're able to go and play around with whatever colors you choose. For the sake of this, let's just go ahead and use the same color as the bottom portion of this template, which is that kind of eggplant purple. And there you have it. Now, you know, some people are okay with this. And, you know, truthfully, it completely dissipated the line. All right, so mission accomplished. But that's not what I want to teach you. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go to this transparent gradient right here. It looks white on the screen or in your elements tab, but once you actually add it to your page, it's going to come on like a smoke gray or black. All right, I'm going to move this over to the edge of the template, making sure it's lined up where I want to start to dissipate that line. While it is highlighted, I'm going to go up to the top to color, and this exact same color right here where the bottom portion of our template, I'm going to click that color, and that's the color that transparent gradient is going to turn. And I am just going to duplicate this and strategically move it across the page here until I get to the other side. That is going to help to get rid of that line where it shows a separation between the AI photo and the bottom portion of the canvas, just like this. I am big on not seeing lines. I don't want to see them. I just can't stand it. So I use the transparent gradient element and or option often in everything that I design. All right. So I'm just going to keep on doing this. Keep on doing this until I have reached the opposite side of the page. All right. Now I'm going, the last one that I just did, I'm going to bring this down a little bit because it started to cover up those flowers some, and I don't want it to. Okay. All right. So there you have it. That's done. I'm going to click or highlight the AI generated background, and then I'm going to go over to edit photo. And while I'm in edit photo, I want to go down to a shadow because I want to add a shadow effect. I don't want to do the outline shadow effect. Let's look and see what the drop shadow effect is looking like, or glow. And let me see. I think I'm going to use the drop shadow effect, and I'm going to grab this outside tab, and I'm going to make this photo fit back onto the entire canvas. And there you have it. I don't know if you're able to really kind of tell what that did, but to me, it gives you more of a visual when it comes to the stairway. Okay. All right. So you have that in place. So I'm going to go back over to my uploads, and I'm going to select my model, or Sasha. I can't remember if that particular image or that particular image is on the original template, but I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So I do have that photo in a side profile, and that's what I want to use, and you'll see why in just a moment. So let me get down to the photo that I want to use of Miss Sasha, and that's the side profile right here. All right, so I'm gonna, the photo is already highlighted. I'm gonna go to edit photo, and I am going to use the BG remover, the background remover. If you don't have Canva Pro, and you can always tell if you have Canva Pro, well, if you're paying for it. But if not, any element and or feature within Canva that has this crown in the lower right hand corner means that that is a Canva Pro feature. If it does not have that crown there, then that is a Canva free edition feature. However, if this is something that you do often or that you want to get into and do, I would highly encourage you to spend, I believe it's like $14.95 a month, and just upgrade to the Canva Pro feature. All the different types of things that are inside Canva Pro is astonishing, and it's not going to do anything but just make your designs look better. All right, there's my shameless plug, unpaid plug for Canva. All right, so I'm going to use a side profile photograph of Sasha because, again, this is a template that we are customizing ourselves. So, once again, if you want to stick with the original and just change out the photographs, by all means do so. I don't want to. I want to do something completely different because so many of you have stated to me that you've had issues with creating obituaries from scratch. So this is basically from scratch. We just happen to have a roadmap right here to help us along the way. All right, so I'm going to go back to page 3. I'm going to use a side profile photograph. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to bring it all the way over to the right where her hair and her back is touching the edge of the canvas. I think I want to reduce the size of the photograph just a little bit, make sure she's positioned and she's good. I'm going to go again to edit photo, and I'm going to go down to shadows, and let's just check out the drop shadow to see what that does. As you can see, when you do use the drop feature, it kind of reduces the size of the photograph a little bit, but be not dismayed. You can always go back and readjust the size of that photograph after you've added the shadow effect to your picture. So I'm going to click right here where it says color, and I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to add that white. I'm going to take the intensity of that up. It's a little too intense for me, so let's take it down just a little bit. Take it down to about 53. I'm okay with that. Let's check out the distance and see if that's what we want to do, and it is not, so let me take that back down. Let's try glow. I think I like the glow better. And I'm just going to take that all the way up, play around with it until I get to my desired. I'm going to keep it at 75. I'm going to click out of that. All right. So again, with that particular photo edit feature, it did reduce the size of the photograph just a little bit. So I'm going to bring it down to the edge, the bottom edge of the program, and I'm just going to make it slightly larger, repositioning her back where I want her, where the apex, the occipital, which is this area of her head, I wanted to directly touch the edge of the program. I'm going to bring it down so that you are able to see that beautiful gold bird or angel or whatever that is. All right, so there it is. So I have that there. Perfect. So I'm going to go and again go back over to my elements, gather a transparent gradient, the one that I'm able to manipulate the color, turn that over to a 90 degree, bring that to the bottom of this page to kind of mute out some of the boldness of that photograph. Make sure it's lined up, and there it is. All right. So again, because this particular transparent gradient You are able to manipulate the color and change the color any way that you choose. Let's go and do that, starting with the blue. So click the blue tab first. I'm going to go over to photo colors because I kind of want everything to marry into one another. And let's start with this soft purple or this mauve purple. And then we're going to go up to the white tab at the top of the screen and we're going to do the same thing. All right, so I mean, that's nice. It is. It's kind of giving me what I want or what I think I want. Now, if you want to do something a little darker, a little bit more dramatic, let's play around with it. Okay, let's go back up here and play around with any color that you choose. Let's play around with the black. Black's not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice at all. So I think I'm going to leave it at the black because I actually like it that way. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to take that transparent gradient. I'm going to flip it horizontally, sorry. And I'm going to move that up to the top of this program. And you'll see why in a moment. All right. So I'm going to move it up to the top of this program. Now we can keep it at the black if you choose. Or again, you can go around and play around with the colors. Let's just play around with the color. No, I'm going to keep it black here. And the second option, let's try that purple. I mean, that works, but I don't want to. I want to add some color, some life to it. So let's go back to that black and let's play around with that color some more. Okay. Well, let's see what don't be afraid to play around with it is what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to spend too much time doing that because I want to be able to move further into this demonstration. Okay, so no. Okay, let me see. No, I don't want to use this at all. I'm sorry. It's just too dark. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. Let's stick with that purple. All right. So these are the two colors right here that I've used for this particular transparent gradient, which is more of that eggplant purple and this mauve. And if you click on the bottom one, you see that I use black on the bottom. Okay. All right. So we have that. Let's go over to text. All right. And you'll see why I added a transparent gradient in just a moment. Well, actually, let's do it now. If I were to remove this and I go over to text and I do a subheading and move that right up here to the top where we would put in loving memory or in remembrance of, let's just put remembering our beloved. Let's just put remembering our beloved. You won't be able to see it. I don't care what color you put. It's just not going to be very visible. Even if we change the font to black, it's just not going to be very visible. Okay? It's not. And then even, it's just not very visible. All right, so let me back out of this. All right, keep it at the white. I'm going to take my transparent gradient. I'm going to put it back up here at the top of this program, and you'll see why. You're still able to get the full beauty of the images, but it makes your remembering or whatever you're going to put there at the top of that program more visible. So we have remembering our beloved. I am going to change the font color. I really don't use a lot of white and or black when I'm designing my programs. And as I start to put out more videos and all these different types of things, I will explain why I stay away from those two colors a lot of times. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to use the off-white. That's going to be my go-to font color throughout this entire design process. So I have the remembering our beloved, and I change the font color to this off-white. And again, if you hover over the color swatches, it will bring up the hex code. So, you know, if you want to write them down, if there's certain ones that you like and you want to use often, you can write down the hex code and you're able to just go ahead and plop that hex code right up in here where the magnifying glass is in that search engine. All right, so I am going to change this font style. When it comes to obituaries, one of my most favorite font styles to use is going to be Cinzel. There are several others that I like, but for this one, I'm going to use Cinzel. Because it did not automatically populate over in my fonts, I'm going to go to the search bar, search engine, and I'm just going to type in the first couple of letters of Cinzel, and it's going to bring it up, and it's going to automatically change the font style to Cinzel. All right, so you can adjust the font size to whatever size you want it to be, making sure that it is aligned in the middle of the page. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out too. All right, to where it is aligned in the middle of the page. So I'm just going to click it again, go to these three little dots, go down to align to page, make sure that it is centered, and it is. Now, one little trick that I like to do is while my heading is highlighted, I like to go over to spacing, and I like to take the letter spacing all the way out as far as I can to where it's across the page. And to me, that eats up a lot of space on a page so that your eyes are not just wandering around your design. It brings everything together, so there does not leave a whole bunch of gaps and or empty spaces. So I'm going to go back to align to page again. It's already centered because the centered is not highlighted, which means I don't need to do so. And I'm going to leave it right there. It's positioned perfectly. All right. So remember, on our scratch page, we moved up the gold glitter element as well as the gold box that had the date in there. So I'm going to take this gold glitter element and I'm going to bring it all the way down onto our design. And you can either leave it there, which I'm not. I'm going to flip it just like this, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to flip it just like that, move it around to my desired position, and I'm going to leave it right there. While it is still highlighted, I'm going to go up to position. I'm going to go to layers. Actually, no, I'm not. Make it easy. I'm going to stay on arrange, and I'm just going to click backward until the majority of this gold glitter is actually strategically placed behind Sasha. I want to leave it just like that, okay? There, we have it. Just to kind of give you an idea that I'm on the right page. Nope, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. All right, so I have that gold glitter positioned to where I want it to be. And actually, let's bring it in just a little bit to where you don't see anything behind her. So I've just reduced the size of that, and we're going to keep it at that. All right. All right. She's looking good. She's looking good. All right, so I'm going to go back up to my original, and I'm going to see if there's anything else on here that I want to take off of this page and add it to my newly designed cover template page. And as of right now, there's not. So I'm just going to go back down to my new page, and I'm going to go over to my elements, and I'm going to select my doves. To me, doves on an obituary, it really signifies the Trinity, Christ, love, peace, all those different types of things that we want to bring to our mourners when they are at a funeral or a memorial service for a loved one. So in your bundle kit, there were several different doves to choose from, and we're just going to find the right one. And let's try this dove, this set first, okay? Cute little doves, look like they kissing, look like they happy. It's already highlighted. Let's go to edit photo, and let's just remove the background, and let's just see how this complements our design. And it does a little bit. It does, but it doesn't complement our design. It'll work even if we reduce the size, maybe so, but this is not going to work for me, only because of the extension of the dove wings as well as the extension of the wings of that beautiful gold bird in the background. So I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to try this dove here. And I don't know if this is going to completely remove the background and just focus on the singular dove right here. So let's try it. Okay, so remove the background, and it did. Look at God. All right, so let's reduce the size of this dove, and let's move this dove over. And I'm going to reduce the size of this dove a little bit more because I don't want it to run into these pretty flowers right here. And okay, let's leave it. And again, if you don't like that, I think this is the dove that I used initially. So let's remove the background here, and then let's just kind of see which one we like the best. All right, so remove the background. And, well, let's see. No, let's not worry about that right now. You can always go in and fill in later if you choose, but right now let's just stick with this dove. Oh, let's try this one. Let's just try it. So I'm going to remove the background on this one, and let's just see. No, because it leaves the red roses in the background, so that's not gonna work. I almost forgot. Now, you see we added a glow outline on the Sasha image, but I want to bring a lot more light to this program. So I'm gonna go up to Elements, and I'm going to type in glow. And it's going to bring up so many different variations and different shades of a glow. And again, you can play around with any of them. You may want to use this glow, and whatever you want to use, that's perfectly fine. I'm not I use this particular glow sometimes, but not a lot. So I'm going to go up to position. I'm going to go over to layers. That glow element is already highlighted. I'm going to drag it down, and I'm going to place it behind Sasha, and I'm going to extend it out a little bit more. And this is the effect of that particular glow. To me personally, it's just a little bit too much gold and yellow there, and I don't want to use that. So I'm going to go back over to my elements, and these are some of the options. I hate when it does that. I hate when it does this. I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. My goodness. It'll kick me out and I have to go back in. I'm sorry. But I don't lose anything. So that's the beautiful thing. So let's go back. Everything is going to still be intact. So I didn't lose anything. So that's good. All right. So come on, come on, come on. I think it's really time for me to clean out my computer. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Either that or upgrade my storage, because I have so much of everything on here, and it just kind of moves slow from time to time. Okay, let's close this out, and let's get back to this program. Okay, so you see nothing was lost. Let's go over to Elements. I'm going to type in glow, and it's going to bring up all the different variations of glows that they have. And I'm going to just kind of look through there to see what I find that I like. Initially, when I did this the first time, I used this glow, and it just brings a lot more of the color to the page, and you can always build these glow features on top of one another. So I'm going to drag this out. I'm going to move it where I want it to be behind her, which is like right here. I'm going to go up to position, go to layers, and I'm going to drag that glow behind Sasha. And there it is. Okay. Now this is fine, but I want to break up so much of this pink and the magentas and the purples, so I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back over to Elements. Lord Jesus, be offense. Okay, go to glow again. And I think I'm going to use the white glow. place it right where I want it to be, go back up to position, drag it behind the photograph. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to go back over to elements. I'm going to type in glow again. I'm going to go to see all, and I'm going to select another glow element that has a little bit more of a color. And let's see. Let's try this one. Okay, I'm going to position it where I want it to be. Leave it right there. I'm going to go up to position, and I'm going to bring this to where it is directly behind the image but in front of the white glow. It adds dimension. Bring it up just slightly. It just adds dimension. Okay. All right, so bring this down just a little bit. It just adds dimension. All right, I'm going to get out of that. I'm content with that. All right, so she's starting to look really good to me right now. All right, so I'm going to go back up to the original. Well, actually, yeah, because I said we were not going to do this the lazy way. All right, so if you look at the original, you see right here that the name was grouped together, but I'm going to show you how to do that instead of just, relying on what's in the template, because we don't want to be lazy. All right, so I'm going to go to my scratch paper. I'm going to go over to text, and where it has font combinations, these are my recently used, but where it has font combinations, I'm going to click this font combination, and it's going to populate already generated. And let me explain to you why I like this one so much, because when it comes time to align and make sure that everything is perfect, this particular font combination is already set up that way. Especially if you're new to Canva, you're not certain on how to align it, or how to get everything to where it comes together. This is cool. I like this one because right where it says more than I should, you're right where, and then above it, Philip Vasquez, and then Darlena McCullough. You are able to right here add the birth date and the death date along on top of the name. Now, let me tell you something. Me as a designer, my goal, my objective, and my mission is to take the traditionalism and how we view obituaries completely off the table. These programs, these keepsake obituaries, they are memorabilia. These obituaries are the only thing tangible that mourners have to walk away from one of the most dreadful days of their lives, and that is having to say goodbye to a loved one. They cannot walk away with flowers. The flowers are going to die. The doves are going to fly away. The hearse, the horse-drawn carriage, the horses, the limousines, everything is going to go back to their prospective places. And the only thing that our mourners have left from that day is the memory of that service and our obituary. And as we move further along into this, then I will explain to you my theory from market research, from sitting down, talking to families, listening to my families, the feedback that I received from my families and those that are in funeral services, why these obituaries ultimately bring closure to families along the line, down the line. Okay, so I like to break it up to where it's not traditional. A lot of my families take these programs that I create for them and they put them in frames. And another service that I have is I will put them in keepsake shadow boxes. I will decorate them and all those types of things as another memorial piece along with the actual obituary. And it's something that they put in their homes or their desk or wherever as a memorial piece for their loved one. So I try to not put so much information on the front page, such as right here, church information, date, time of the service, who's officiating. Now, if my families want that on there, then of course I'm going to appease my families. But most times I talk them out of putting it on the front, and we find other places within the program to put that information, especially after I stress to them the artistic beauty of this particular program. And again, later on down the line, I will expand more on that. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm not going to put it on there. So um, important information to put again is the birth date and the death date. And with this particular text combination, you're able to either add that on top of the name, or right here where you have this little statement, a story about falling in love and out of love. All right, so it's already grouped together. I'm going to ungroup it. All right, I'm going to take this bottom statement, I'm going to move it down, and then I'm going to take where it says more than I should, I'm going to move that in the center, and this right here, I'm going to leave it completely alone. As a matter of fact, to make sure that it's left alone, let's just go ahead and regroup it. Now, if you don't know how to group, let me tell you something. Grouping these things together is going to be your best friend. I hate to say this, but I haven't quite learned how to successfully group different elements and use the grouping feature on my iPad or my phone, but on my desktop or my MacBook, I am able to do that. So with your mouse, just click, highlight, put everything in this purple box. It's going to say group, and it's grouped. This is just my little security blanket. All right. So where it says more than I should, I'm going to go and highlight that. Are we going to keep her name Sasha? Yeah, we are. Let's just keep her Sasha. S-A-S-H-A. And there it is. Now I'm going to highlight this again, and I'm going to go over into the fonts until I find the font that I want to use. Now for the original template, it was Batch Heart that was used, which is this one. I don't want to use Batch Heart. I want to do something entirely different. My favorite and my brand font is going to always be Sloop Script. Let's try this one. That's a possibility. But let's just try Sloop Script. This is my favorite, my absolute favorite, and you will see I use this all the time. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to make her bigger. Make sure she's centered. All right. Okay, let's just use her. All right, I'm going to change the font color. Remember I said that I really stray away from using white and black. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to find me a suitable color that's going to complement our design. And this pink is actually going to not mesh well. So let's just do the off-white. And I'm going to go up to effects. And let's play around with the shadow effect. Change the background of the shadow to a different color. That'll work. Just to see how that works and if that catches your eye, let's just move it down to the template to see how those colors mesh. Okay, I mean, it's fine, but I want something with a pop to it. So move it back up to my scratch paper. I'm going to go back over to my effects, and I'm just going to do the neon. All right. Neon is going to work for me. I know it is, and that's what I'm sticking with. So I'm going to stick with the neon. Neon works. I'm going to make sure that neon is in the middle of the page. And what was Sasha's last name on the original? Allen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stick with the neon. I'm going to go over to text. I'm going to grab the subheading. I'm going to place, you can place this wherever you want to. I'm going to place it towards the ending of her name here. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to write out Allen. Now, I had somebody ask me how come I don't include middle names. Well, on my promo obituaries, because I don't want to. When I'm working with a family, of course, I'm going to include the name that they want. But when I'm doing my promo obituaries, I don't add a middle name because I don't want to. That's just the best answer I can give. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I just don't want to. All right, so make sure that's aligned, and it is aligned. And I'm going to go and change the font style. I don't want to use the script sloop for that. I want to use something different. And let me see. I really kind of like this font in this gold box, which is either Hay or London. So let's just try London for the last name just to kind of see what type of look it gives. And it's not doing it for me. And again, we're going to move into, this is not going to be my first and or last video. I'm going to create others when it comes to, fonts and colors and all those different types of things. But this particular demo is purely to break down and redesign this particular template. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about fonts and the importance of the fonts and why we need to be very mindful of the type of fonts that we use, the psychologicals behind it. I'm not going to do that in this particular video. So let's try Alice. Okay. A rapey. Let's try Sinzel. Okay, let's stick with Sinzel. Just so that everything meshes together, because keep in mind where we have up here, remembering our beloved was in the Sinzel font. All right, so I'm going to keep it with the Sinzel, keep it lined the way that I have it. I'm going to change the color of that to that off-white. I'm just not going to add the neon effect to it. Make sure it's lined up. And it is lined up to my likings where I want it to be. And now I'm just going to group it. It's grouped. There it is. Boom. There you have it. All right. So, all right. So the name is grouped. All right. And that's perfect. All right. So this statement here, let's just use that. Let's just use this for the birth date and the death date. So on the original birth date was May 4th of 1999. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to keep it in the same font that it is, May 4th, 1999, space, period, to, what was it? May 12th. May 12th, 2000 XX, because this is just a template. All right, and I'm going to keep it at the Laura font with the italic on there. I really like that. Okay. Okay. I'm going to change this font color to the off-white. And I'm going to go up here to my spacing option or feature, and I'm going to letter space this out to where it becomes appeasing to my eye, and I'm going to keep it right there. And now I'm going to move this right underneath the name, first and the last, right here. You see that it's aligned, and if you're not certain about it being aligned, just click on the three dots, go to align page, add it to the center. It's aligned. Okay, and I'm going to group all of this together, and there we have it. It's all grouped. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to take all of this down to our newly edited template, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to position it where I want it to be. Okay, which is right about right here. Now, yes, it is a little large, so all you're going to do is just reduce the size. I want it right here, and there you have it. So there was a reason why I left the glitter element right here, because that glitter of the name Sasha Allen is going to fit on top of the glitter element. Now, maybe you don't like Sasha being the off-white. Maybe you want to do something different. So let's just go up here and let's just select another color. Say you want to keep it this hot pink, or you want to do this hot pink, which is that's actually kind of cute like that too. I really like it. Or you want to do the purple. You play around with it. Or maybe this isn't working for you and you want to do something different. You play around with it. This is the part that I'm trying to get you all to understand. You make these your creations. You play around with it. What works with your eye. Now, truth be told, I really kind of like this blue. Let's just see. I'm going to stick with it. I like the blue. See, I just made a discovery just playing around with something. To give it a little bit more of a flair, I'm going to go over to Elements. And I'm going to find me a sparkle. Let's go to See All. And I'm just going to see what I can find that just makes me happy. Okay, this kind of makes me happy. Let's reduce the size. Bring it down. Okay, well, you see that sparkle is actually behind the name Sasha, and I want it to be on top. So I'm going to go to position. I'm going to go over to arrange. I'm going to bring to the front and there. I like that. Now, maybe that white sparkle is just a little too muted for you. You want something with a little bit more color. That's fine. Let's go see if we can find something with a little bit more color. This color works for me, but it may not work for you. But there are so many different options that you have. There's so many different element styles that are available. Again, it's about playing around with what captures your creative juices. So this one works for me. I'm okay with it. But let's just explore. Okay. I'm okay with it. Let's try this one. Ooh, you see that? And that just did something a little different for me. Bam, look at that. Let's reduce this size just a little bit, like a little fairy dust. And I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put that right in the smack dab of the middle of that white sparkle. Then I'm gonna go down up to the transparent gradiency, and I'm gonna take that transparency down just a little bit. And my God, look at that. I love it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this cover is cool. The only other thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to leave it alone, is I'm going to add a border. I love borders on my obituaries. I do. Oh, I'm not done. One other thing. I love borders on my obituaries. I do. I put borders on all my obituaries. You can go over here and you can put, I don't know, gold border. No, I don't do that. You can go in here and you can put neon border. See what it pops up. And if you want to add a neon border, you can do that. If you want to play around with an actual background and just reduce the size of it, you can do that as well. Again, whatever floats your boat. So here's a neon border. If you want to do a neon border, honey, knock yourself out. But that's not what I'm going to do, but I am going to add a border. So I'm going to go up to the original template and this gold border right here. I'm going to snag it. I'm going to go to layers. Here it is. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to bring this down to our newly designed obituary cover, and I'm going to take this gold border, which has some texture to it. I believe it was more of a sequence background that I used, and I'm going to place it right there at the top. Okay, it's positioned where I want it to be, how I want it to be, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to bring this down to the bottom page. and bring it down to the bottom. And I want it to sit on top of the transparent gradient that we put down there. Okay. Bam, there she is. Beautiful. This is your artwork. All right. One last thing. On the original template, you had it right here that the service was May 19th at 11 a.m. Okay. And I did have the church information on here. So I saved, remember, we saved this element that was already grouped together. I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it onto our newly designed template just to kind of see what it looks like. And if I want to keep this right here, the only thing that's throwing me off with this is that sparkle on the tail end of that triangle, and I don't want it there because we added a sparkle right there at her name and it's just a little too much. So I'm gonna take it back up to my scratch paper. I'm going to ungroup it, and everything is ungrouped. I'm going to remove the sparkle. I'm going to get rid of it altogether and it's gone. I'm going to regroup this and I'm going to bring this back down onto the template here, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and here it is right there. So that would be the date of the service right there. Let me see. All right, so as of right now, my program, the cover page, is cool. Will we come back and add some different things to it as we continue to build our obituary? Absolutely. But as of right now, she looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and then I'm going to come back and we'll move into uh, the other pages of the program. But as of right now, the seal of approval is on the cover page, and here it is. Part 2 will come shortly. Testing out. How can I stop? Just to kind of briefly recap, and I'm recording these in segments primarily because of the battery life of my computer, as well as how detailed I'm attempting to be with this design. So the first portion was roughly around 47, 48 minutes, and that was for the cover page. Now we're going to move into the actual obituary page. And there are some things that I want to share here when it comes to synchronicities, as well as design, and all those different types of things. So we left off with, again, page 1 being the page that is on that's included with the template. But what I did is I completely redesigned the cover. Well, we redesigned the cover. The cover has been completely redesigned. So page 1 is the original. Moving down to page 3 is the redesigned cover for the Sasha obituary. And just again, we do know that page 2 right here is what I call my scratch paper. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to move page 2 down to where it is now page 3, because it is my scratch paper, which is strategically placed between the newly designed cover and where the obituary is going to start. And if you can recall, after I finished designing the cover for the obituary, to me it looks good. And I did state that more than likely I would come back and do some touching up on this page again. And one of those things that I might do is, as you can see, I am duplicating the transparent gradient that I use at the bottom. This is this right here. I'm going to flip it at a 180-degree angle. And I'm going to move it off here, off to the side, which would be considered the opening of the program. And I'm going to extend it upward, just right here, above the actual border. Move it in, and I just want to see what that looks like, if that's just going to kind of, and it does, it gives me a really pretty glow effect. And again, that may be something that I take off later, or we can flip this and let's flip it and move it to the other side of the page just to kind of see what it does here. um, hmm, I actually think I kind of like it over on this side more, so let's just see. I'm going to click that border up there, go to position, and I'm going to bring it to the front, and I'm going to go over to layers, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says remembering our beloved. I'm going to click that, highlight that, go back over to arrange, and I'm going to bring that to the front where it sits on top of the gradient, and we'll just leave it for right now. And again, I may remove it, it just all depends. So moving down to page 4, which is the Sasha story, the beginning of the obituary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of these photos and everything that I have here, with the exception of where it says Sasha's story. I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to change the font style of Sasha's name, and I'm going to use the exact same font style that I use for her name on the program, along with the light. I mean excuse me, along with the element that I used. I mean the effect, sorry. So I'm just going to get rid of all of this. This is tedious and I do apologize, but I just want you all to really get the full gander of what it is I'm doing. Removing that. Remove this. I'm going to remove everything to where it's just a bare page. Okay. All right. So I'm going to highlight Sasha's story, and I believe this is grouped. Let's see. Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, that's okay. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm just going to change the font style from Batch Heart to Script Slope is what I used initially. Slope Script, sorry. All right, Slope Script. And I'm going to go, because the effect is already on there, I'm going to go and I'm going to use that blue, the same as on her cover page. I just like for everything to coordinate and correspond with one another. So I'm going to take story. Let's just use the same font that I used for her last name, which was Sinzel. So I'm going to highlight story, and I'm going to go and change the font style from Laura to Sinzel, if I can find it. There it is. To Sinzel. I'm going to extend it outward. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this underneath the name Sasha. And I'm going to group this. Now, a simpler way. Okay, so no, that lets me know that there's still some other stuff there if it's grouping like that. Oh, some other gradients. Excuse me. Okay. So let me just group this first, and then I'm going to show you a simpler way to do this. So that's grouped. A simpler way to do that is to just go to where the name is on the cover page, highlight it, duplicate it, bring it down, ungroup it, delete the birth date and death date. Where Alan is, just add story, because it's all still positioned in the same, it's still aligned as the same as it is on the cover page. I'm just going to group that. It's already grouped. This that I've done, I'm just going to delete this, because I know that this is accurate, even down to The font size, the alignment, everything is already accurate. I'm going to bring this down, make sure it's good and centered. And there it is. All right, so there it is. Now, to kind of keep the same theme as the actual obituary cover, we can do one of two things. All right, so what we can do is we can go to the cover page, up to position, over to layers, and the actual background photograph, we can scroll down and we can just duplicate that. If that's what you want to do, bring that down. If if you want to keep the same theme, okay? Bring that down, position it at the top of the page, just like so. It's good in position. Sorry, my phone ringing. It's good in its position. Okay. And then go up to position where the Sasha story is, which is actually now behind the background picture. Go to arrange, bring it to the front. There it is. Now it's a little busy. It's very busy to where trying to actually write the obituary and have this particular background is going to be very busy. So let's do this. Let's just highlight this photo, go up to these three dots, and let's just see what will happen if we apply colors to page and get rid of. So still just going to bring that eggplant purple. It's kind of dark. So let's just go over to our colors. Uh-oh, what I didn't do is I didn't duplicate this page to begin with. Well, again, we're just going to be designing this one from scratch. I don't know if I want to do this or not. Let me see. Let me move this up so that, oh, and here's another thing. When you want to see what pages are going to look like side by side, these four squares over here in the lower right corner where it says grid view, click that. So it gives you an opportunity to see all the pages on one screen. And right now, this is very helpful because I'm able to compare the color, the background color of page 3 up against page 2. And to me, they just don't mesh well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click out of that. I'm going to go down to page 5. And I am going to click position, go over to layers. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to duplicate that background and I'm going to move it up. Okay, let me just leave it right here on this scratch paper for a moment. Oh, well, actually, I don't have to. And I'm going to move it up onto this page. All right. So again, just to make sure that I have full coverage of that page, I'm going to go ahead and take the top of it and place it above that border. I'm going to highlight that border in the layers tab, go over to arrange, and that's the wrong border. Go over to arrange and bring it to the front. All right. So there we have that. And again, let's go down to grid view. Let's see how this particular background, how it works with the cover page, and it works fine. I like it. I can get with it. All right, so we're going to click on page 3. So it brings us back to that page we were working on. And again, mind you, we're doing Sasha's story. So I'm going to click this page, go up to position, over to layers again, and click on where Sasha's story is, because it is now hidden behind this background. Go to arrange, bring it to the front. All right, so it's still a little, oh no, we didn't change the color of Sasha's name. All right. And story, the color story needs to be changed as well to that off-white. All right, now we're cooking with gas. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm back on page 3. I'm going to go over to elements. And I'm going to type in transparent gradient once again. Now remember, I told you that transparent gradients, there are some that will allow you to change the color of the gradient, and then there are some that will not allow you to change the color of the gradient. So the transparent gradient that I'm going to use for this particular page, which is page 3, it is not going to allow me to change the transparent gradient. So I'm going to use a black. And I use this particular one right here to bring this up to the top of that page. I'm going to extend it out, and you know, that might be a little too harsh, and it is. So let's take that off of there. And this particular transparent gradient will allow you to change the color, and you'll always know what will allow you to change the color and what will not, because up at the top of the screen will be the 2 color options. So I'm going to flip this around to an 90-degree angle. I'm going to take it to the top of the page. And again, if it overlaps that border, that's okay, because all you're going to do is just bring that border to the front. So let me see. I'm going to extend this out. And I'm going to change the color of this purple to a darker color. So I'm going to go to photo colors, and I'm going to look to see if there's like a dark burgundy or something. This dark purple. I mean, the dark purple's okay, but let's see. Let me compare it to another page because I want to see if I'm going to go to this page. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I just absolutely hate when my computer does that. Sorry. And again, I'm not going to edit out any of this. I want you to get the true authenticity of designing. You know, how you run into hiccups and how you're indecisive when it comes to certain elements and features that you want to use, and design placements and all those things. So you're getting the full authenticity of what a design process is for me. All right, so let's go down to, we're working on page 3, but let's go down to another page, page 5. And I'm going to click on this page, and I'm going to go over to position, because when I go to the layers tab under position, it's going to let me know everything that I've used on this page. And it looks like I used this particular transparent gradient. I don't know what the colors are set, but I'm just going to duplicate the page anyway, and I'm going to move it upward to the page that we're working on, which is right here. And just place it there. Okay, actually that's cool. That's cool. Let me go to position again, and I'm going to get rid of that purple transparent gradient that we use. I delete it, and bam, there it is. It's gone. So let's go to grid view and let's compare the page that we're currently working on to the other pages, and everything corresponds. Perfect. All right. So with this particular page, based off of the need of your family, how you're designing, um, there are some times where you're able to get away with a person's obituary being on one page, and there are times when a person's obituary can take up 2 pages, 3 or 4. In this particular instance, we're going to just use, let's do 2 pages for the obituary, okay? So let's just keep in mind, page number 4 is just my scratch paper. All right, that's all that is. So don't get confused. So page number 3 is going to be the start of the obituary. All right, so we have it here, Sasha's story. I just want to make sure again that that is positioned on top of the transparent gradient. So let's just go and double check, bring it to the front, and there it is. All right, it's positioned the way I wanted to. It's on top. Everything is good. So I'm going to go to page number 5, which would be the second page of the obituary, and I'm going to place it right underneath the first page of the obituary, Sasha's story. So I'm going to duplicate the photo that we have on the cover. I'm going to bring it down to Sasha's story, the obituary page. Bring it to the close here off to the side. I'm going to flip it to where she's facing the opposite direction. I'm going to make sure that the border is in front of her, to the front. Let's reduce this just a little bit and bring this over to the side. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to do a grid view again, just so I can see what we have going on. All right, so right now it looks good, and it looks like on here I had the actual picture going to the back. So let's just move it to the back some. All right. Perfect. Perfect. So let me just go here, and I'm going to go over to layers because I want to see if I took the photograph on the second page of the obituary. If I took the transparency down, I did take it down to 82. So I'm going to go up to this page, go over to position, highlight that photograph again, go up to the transparency. I'm going to take it down to 82 so that everything is synchronized, and there we have it. All right. So at this point, when it comes time for you to write the obituary, how you position the paragraphs is solely up to you, however you choose to do it. For the sake of this, I'm going to just kind of stick to what I already have in place. And at this point, I'm just going to duplicate this paragraph and bring it here. Okay. And let's move Sasha's picture over just a little bit. So she's facing the paragraphs, okay? So that will be considered the start of her obituary. So before I go in there, do any filling in and all that extra stuff, I'm not going to do that right now. Moving down to page 4, and this is what I'm going to do so that this does not become any more confusing. I'm going to just delete my scratch paper, and I can go back and get it at any given time. Page 4 is going to be the continuation of her obituary. So again, let's click grid view. That way you're able to see what it looks like. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do differently on this page is this. Let's duplicate this page. Okay. So the page is duplicated. And I'm going to click position, and the picture of the little girl in the background, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to delete the picture of Sasha. And actually, I'm going to delete everything, just because trying to group on top of all these different layers is utterly impossible. So I'm going to delete everything. I'm going to group these 5 or 6 paragraphs here. Something has to go as well. All right, so let me delete this as well. Okay, so I'm going to group these 5 or 6 paragraphs right here. I'm going to group them together. Okay, so they're already grouped. And I am going to delete these on the original, because we're going to keep them in, take those off and keep everything else intact. I'm going to delete that. I'm even going to delete the image of Sasha. And I'm going to duplicate the image of Sasha from off the previous page. Since it's already the right size, the transparency has been put in place and all those different types of things. And I'm going to bring her to the edge, and I'm going to flip her. I'm going to flip her, and there she is. Now the image of the little girl in the background, I want to keep that. But what we're going to do, we're going to make it bigger. Okay? Make it bigger. Make sure she's centered. Honey, my mama texted me. All right, she's centered. No, she really isn't. Okay, let's just move her over here. Okay. All right, so she's moved over there. We're going to move Sasha to the back. Grown Sasha to the back. All right. Okay. All right, so that paragraph that we grouped right here, we're just going to go ahead and move it up to that page. Just like this. Now, we really can't see the little girl anymore. So let's go over to position, to layers. We're going to highlight that picture of that little girl, and we're going to move her over behind grown Sasha and reduce the size of her. Bring her up to where her little face is above big Sasha. Reduce it down some more. This ain't too much working out the way I wanted to. Because when you hold these programs up to you, you'll be able to see the image of the little girl really well. But let me see. Honey, my mama need to really just go on somewhere and go to bed, girl. All right, so let's just do this. There. All right. I'm just not happy with that. I want to be able to see her. Let me see what happens if I just move her. Because again, I'm trying to prevent any harsh lines, and it's not doing dock on it. Easy fix for that. Click position, go to the photograph of grown Sasha, and let's just bring it down a little bit to where you get the little girl's face. All right, there we go. All right, so let's click grid view. So we have a side by side of what everything looks like. Now, the only thing that I don't like is that on page 4, Sasha's image is smaller than what it is on page 3, sorry. We can leave it as is, but again, if you want everything to be synchronized and correspond with one another, let's click on page 4 and let's duplicate Sasha's picture from here, right here. Let's just duplicate it. Move it up to the page above. And let's get rid of this particular picture of Sasha. Let's take this picture, bring it over, and flip it. Okay. And then we're gonna move it to the back. Let's just see how that looks. Okay. Because again, it's gonna all be contingent upon how much space you need to actually write the first page of that obituary. Let's go to grid view. Okay, everything is synchronized. All right, it's synchronized. I'm actually okay with that. Now, what you can do, if you want to start adding elements, now on the previous page, as you can see, there's this glitter element right here. So let's just duplicate that. Move it up. And then we're going to move it down to where it's not so overpowering. Just like that. Okay. And then there it is. And then we're going to duplicate this. Take it up to the top of the page. I'm going to flip it and do the same thing to where it's not so overpowering. All right. All right. So then we're going to also go back to position, to layers, because we are currently on page 3. Click on your borders. Make sure that they're brought to the front because you want them to always be to the front. Make sure it's brought to the front. It is to the front. All right. So everything matches. Go back to grid view. As you can see, everything matches, which is awesome. Everything matches. Again, ignore page number 5 because that has now officially become our scratch paper. All right. There we have it. All right. So let's go to page 6, which would be considered the order of service. Now, to make things easier for you, as you're laying your foundational pages, and what I mean by that, when you're laying your foundational pages, just do, okay, it's not going to make any sense. I'm going to have to show you what I'm talking about. Ay, caramba. Okay, I'm just going to have to get rid of all of this so that you can see what I'm talking about. Can I just stop and interject really, really fast? I'm not trying to get all churchy on anybody, but I just feel the urge to say this. Ain't God good? I don't know about you, but he sure is good to me. All right. Sorry. So I'm going to, well, let's just move this up just for right now. Because all this right here, I'm going to group it. Well, highlight it as I'm getting ready to group, and I'm just going to hit delete. Okay. Go to position and see if I can't retrieve that background. Okay, I can right there. All right, so I'm going to bring that background page back down. Okay, so I'm able to show you what I was talking about. Okay, so to save yourself some time, since you do know that this is the basis of your design, just continue to duplicate the page based off of the page count, the total page count of your obituary. If you're doing a 4-page, 8, 12, 16, 18, 20, whatever you're doing, just continue to duplicate that page so that you don't have to go back and just redesign every page from scratch. Just continue to duplicate it. All right. And I should have shown you that once before. All right, so we have this page here. We know this is what this is going to be, okay? All right, so again, to make everything correspond, let's go up here to Sasha's story. Nope, that's not it. Let's go up here to Sasha's story. Go to position, go to Sasha's story, and let's duplicate this, and let's just bring it down. Bring it down, because now we're getting ready to work on the order of service. All right, so since we're on the scratch page, let's leave it there. So where the name Sasha is highlighted in the blue, in the slope script font, and has the element of the effect of the neon, let's just go ahead and highlight that, and we're going to change this to celebration. And then where it says story, okay, so we're gonna have to ungroup this. Girl, you do that from the gate. All right, where it says story of, and let's do something a little different. Let's duplicate celebration, highlight it, and you got life right there. Let's swing that over, group it all together, reduce the size. Group it together, reduce the size a little bit. Let's bring this down right here. And boom, there you have it. Celebration of Life, which would be technically the order of service page. I change up the titles a lot of times. So we have the Celebration of Life. All right, so remember we had a transparent gradient. So let's go back up to the obituary page and let us duplicate this transparent gradient. And let's take it down to the Celebration of Life page, which is right here. Put it right there. All right. Bam. There it is. All right. So, transparent gradients on there. You see how it kind of dulls that, all that boldness down. Go up to position, because you just want to make sure again that your borders, your gold borders, are brought to the front, so they're sitting on top of anything that we've just done. Bring that to the front. And there you have it. All right. So with your bundle pack, you did receive a order of service. All right. So I'm going to go to my scratch page right here. I'm going to go over to where I have, well, hold on a second. Let's see if it uploaded here. It might have, and it might not have. And if it did not, this is where, keeping a Word doc open to just copy and paste the order of service after you've built it or filled it in would be advantageous. So it did not. So I'm just going to go over to my save stuff, pull out the order of service, and it's going to go over to my scratch paper page. I'm going to highlight everything underneath the order of service. I don't want that portion. Group it together. And I'm going to move it all down to the Celebration of Life page. Make sure that it is lined up. And I'm going to change the font color so that we're able to see it to the off-white. There it is. And as you can see, this actual title, Celebration of Life, runs into the Celebration of Life, the order of service. So we're just going to go up to Position, over to Layers, highlight Celebration of Life, and we're just going to reduce the size. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size here. I'm going to go to my three dots right here, and I'm going to align it and move it back to the center like there. All right, there it is. So remember, let's just duplicate this. Let's just delete this page. We don't need it for right now. We can always generate another scratch page. So remember how we added this element at the bottom of each page. So let's go back to the grid view so we're able to see. All right, so we added this element on both pages. So let's go back to the Celebration of Life page, and we're going to duplicate that glitter effect. Sorry, we're going to duplicate that grid page, that page, move it down to the Celebration of Life, all the way down to where it's very minimal glitter, just like this. All right, I'm cool with that. Let's duplicate that page. Just duplicate that element, and let's flip it. Move it upward. All right, go to Position, over to Layers. We're in Layers, and you're going to click the gold borders again to make sure they're brought to the front, because we want to always keep those on the front, and they are brought to the front. And let's go over to Grid View, and as you can see, we have the cover page, which is page 2, which would technically be page 1. We have the cover page designed. We have the Sasha story, which is the obituary, 2 pages right here designed. We have the Celebration of Life page designed, and everything matches. It's together. It's everything's the same size, the same color. It is together. So I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'll come back with the conclusion, which would be the either tribute page or the poem page, or whatever you want to put right here. Family acknowledgement, we'll move into that, and then we'll move into the back page. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording here. With the third part of the Let's Design Captivating Obituaries at Template tutorial for Sasha. So because of how intricate and how detailed I have been with the design process, I decided to break this up into threes. It has no bearings on you at all, but it's long. So we're looking at about close to 2.5 hours of straight tutorial time that I had to break up into threes. I'm still a mom, I still run a business, I still work, still other things that I have going on the other side of my computer. So I just felt that it was just best for me to just break this up into threes. So I haven't touched this since the last recording. So we're going to move into the final of this template. And again, I hope that I was able to provide some insight, some direction, some guidance, what they use the word hacks, some things that you did not know, some new ways of discovering some things when it comes to designing captivating obituaries. There are a couple things I do want to touch on before I move into the design process. When it comes to my promotional obituaries, the ones that I use for my website and for sharing across social media, yes, I use AI generated photographs. And the reason being, yes, I can purchase stock photos. There are stock photos within Canva. I choose not to because those photographs are so widely used, and for me, it makes it really kind of hard for me to differentiate. Is this an obituary? Is this a graduation program? Is this a hair care flyer? Because some of the same photographs are widely used and generated all across social media when it comes to promotions. I'm not knocking anyone that uses those photographs because I started off doing so until I learned how to utilize AI, come up with my prompts and all those different types of things. So I use those photographs.
Now, granted, these promo obituaries, the photographs are beautiful, they're crisp. I mean, they're edgeless. They're just perfect. In a real world, most times when your family sends you photographs to go on or inside the obituary, they're not going to look like the photographs, um, the AI generated photographs. We know this. So there's just a little bit of extra work that's required on our end to make sure that we're able to captivate the pure essence of a decedent. Um, I, I, I'm not going to say I have a staff because I don't have a staff, but I do have a working team of individuals. So I have a printer that I'm contracted with, so I don't print my own programs. And then also, I have partnered with a photographer who specializes in digital photo editing and restoration. So he restores all of my photographs, um, especially when I'm dealing with older men and women when their photographs are not as pixelated as those of the young folks. They're not as clear, but he does wonders and he makes those pictures just really stand out and just really, really pop. So, I would really encourage you to be mindful when you are consulting with your families to really stress to them and reiterate to them the importance of the cover photo. Because, like I always say, the cover of your obituary is the gateway to someone's legacy. Without further ado, let's move into this. So, what you're looking at here is the cover for the Sasha obituary that came with your template. Just kind of recapping a little bit, I went in to show you what you can really do with a template. You can use this particular template and just change out a few of the elements and some wording and a picture, and boom, there you have it. But what we did was we created a totally different cover using some of the same elements from your template, going over to our elements within Canva, and even some of the elements that came with your bundle kit. So, we changed out the background, changed out the cover photo, did some shading, some highlighting, added some glow, changed out the font, all these different types of things just from breaking down our original template and just allowing our creativity to speak. Okay, so we've done the cover page. Remember, we did the Our Story page. We did that, which is the obituary. I just noticed something just a few moments ago in this zigzag right here. I don't know if that's from a particular glow that I used or not, but let's go find out. And let me see. And it is. So what I did is I touched my canvas, went to position, went over to layers. This shows you everything that is on this particular page. I know that this is a glow, and that's the glow that I used, so I highlighted it, I deleted it, and yes, that's what the problem was. That glow had a zigzag border on the back. I did not like that, so I'm going to go over to Elements. I'm going to type in glow, and I'm just going to replace it with a different glow element that does not have that zigzag effect. And I believe this was the one. So this was the one. So if you look closely, you'll see the outside border of this particular glow has another, I don't know, kind of a funky zigzag border. Even though I love the color, it's not what I want to use. So let's try this one just to kind of stay in the realm of all the different colors that we have going on with the theme of the program. So I've positioned the globe where I want it to be. I'm going to go up to position. I'm going to drag that glow down behind our model. Mm, okay, she works. It works. All right, so I'm going to move off from that. All right, so we did our celebration of life page. I'm just going to move this down just a little bit. Again, or the order of service. We did the order of service page in the previous video. Me personally, when it comes to the order of service page or the celebration of life page, I really try my hardest to not use so many different elements and or photographs. I have done it per my family's request. I have used photographs on the Celebration of Life page, and most times I don't. Again, that's just a preference. For this particular template, I did not add any photographs to it, but I did add some sparkles and different things like that to kind of break up so much of the emptiness and the space of it. So this particular order of service, the order of service is here. You're able to use it. You have it, and you can even download this section. This is a new feature with Canva. I just realized this just the other day. Highlight that, go to the three buttons up top. You can download that section and then add it to a Word doc, add it to your library. There you have it. All right, so this is where we left off. This is where we're going to pick up. This is the what I would call, or what I called in the template, the poem. So this is a poem that I wrote. This is a poem that was added to your bundle. This is a poem that you can use if you choose. A lot of times with families and them trying to put together the obituaries for their loved ones, sometimes, yes, they have all these things readily available. Yes, they have the poems, or they have the tributes, or they have the dedication page. They have all those things already together. But there are going to be times when you run across families that are so overwhelmed with the planning, trying to handle travel arrangements for those that are coming in from out of town, dealing with the funeral home, all while trying to process their own grief. They may not just have it in them to write a poem of comfort, or to write a dedication, or to write an acknowledgement. That is something that I do offer my families. I just kind of pick up on their level of anxiety and where they are when it comes to their stress. And I'll just suggest to them, okay, well, you have an 8-page program. We still have a page and or two that needs to be utilized. Would you like for me to write a poem of comfort on behalf of your family? Do you want to use this particular page for your family acknowledgments? Excuse me. Do you want to turn this into a dedication page? What would you like to do? And, I give them some options. They tell me what they want. If they want me to write the poem, I'll go off, write the poem. I will send it to them for approval. And if they're good with it, then hey, then we're good. So for this particular program, there is a poem, The Silence of the Night. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the way it's titled. So let me go down here and start me another piece of scratch paper. Let me move this up. I'm telling you, this is going to be your best friend. All right. Let me move this down. I want it to be underneath. All right. The Silence of the Night. All right. So let's also go to grid view. And as you can see, pretty much for the heading of pretty much everything in this program, I use the Sloop script font with the effect of the effect of neon and this beautiful blue color. And I'm going to do the same thing for the title of this poem. So I'm going to go back to my scratch paper, The Silence of the Night. Okay, I'm going to go over to text. I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab a heading. Okay, and I'm going to highlight that, copy, go here and paste. Only because I know it's already spelled correctly, all that type of stuff. I don't have to do that. I'm going to highlight it again. I'm going to go up to font. I'm going to select Sloop script. I'm going to look and just eyeball. Let's get rid of this. Okay. I'm going to look and eyeball to see how much space I have here at the top. That's going to help me to determine the font size of this. So I'm going to take this up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move this up because I just want to position and just kind of get an eye for what it's looking like. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to keep the font size at 55.3. I'm going to go highlight that again, select my blue, go over to effects, click neon. There I have it. Everything is synchronized. I'm going to move this up to the top of this page, following my guides. Double check to make sure that it's centered, it is aligned, and it is centered. And there it is. Now, if you want to, you can even make this a little bigger. And to make sure again that everything flows together, let's just go and check the font size for Sasha. Sorry, I don't want to do that. Okay, celebration of life. 183. Okay, that might be a little too big for this. Let's just see. Yeah, that's way too big. Okay, so let's just back out. Takes it back down to 62.8. Let's try and see 80. It's still too big. 64. Okay, let's leave it at 72. Okay, just want to make sure that it's aligned, and it is. All right. So you have your poem here. Another thing that I like to do throughout my design process is to make sure that everything is cleaned up. This helps me to see if there's anything I need to change. Helps me also, it prompts me to make sure that I'm using the same font style throughout my entire project. And so, what made me think of that right now is looking at the actual poem. So I'm going to click this. It says I use multiple fonts. Okay, well that's not going to work for me. The only thing that I would not suggest changing the fonts on in the middle of your designing process is the font style for your order of service. Doing so is going to throw everything completely off grid. It is. So if you're going to change the font style, then again, I encourage you to download this, add it to a Word doc, and do the pre-design that way. So when you're in the middle of designing your obituaries, you're not disturbing your designing process and or your design by adjusting the fonts and the font size to the order of service. That's just my suggestion. Okay, so let's just go back through here. And fonts are very, very important when it comes to an obituary. And that's something that I'll talk about at a later time. Well, no, let me just touch on it. One thing I noticed, how can I say this without coming across offensive? One thing I noticed when it comes to these beautiful obituaries that I see and what completely throws them off for me is the type of font that was used and the coloring. As stated before, I try my hardest to stay away from black font and or white font. I use alternatives. Even like with this particular program, I didn't use white, I used off-white. Our job is to create a captivating obituary that is ultimately going to bring closure to anyone that reads it and or picks it up. It's something about black to me, and in my opinion, that is so harsh and that is so dominant that it's not calming to the emotional psyche of anyone who's viewing your artwork. That's why when I use the colors that I use, I make sure that they all complement one another. They complement my vision for the program, and that they also complement the loved one that I'm designing this program for. Um, Font styles. Let me give you an example. Okay, here's my scratch paper. This is something that I see often. Let me just go get a heading. No, let me see. In loving memory. Okay, let's just do that. In loving memory. You're setting the tone with this title. All right. Let's go over to fonts. I see this. Let me change this background page to white. Change this font to black. This is what I see. Unless you're doing some type of or using some type of decorative elements around the 11 memory, that right there is how can I just it's harsh. It doesn't bring any peace to the mind, the psyche, unless you're going to add something that is going to calm down so much of the boldness of this. Let me see something else that I've seen in the past. I don't want to spend too much time here because I wrote an ebook on this, and I will delve into that and break up into that a little bit more. I just wanted to just point this out while it was fresh in my mind to just really be mindful of the type of fonts that we use, how we use them when we're trying to perpetuate a message. You're going to notice with pretty much everything that I do, I use a scripted font for a lot of things. It's something about a scripted font that brings comfort. And I've done a lot of research on this, market research from families, funeral homes, and so on and so forth. It's something about more scripted fonts that brings comfort, it brings peace, and it also settles the mind. And again, at another time, I'll go into all of that. I just wanted to kind of just mention that while I was talking about fonts. Okay, so moving along. I just want to make sure that my fonts are the same throughout my entire design process. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click her. Let me see. I use Sloop Script for. All right, I'm going to use one font that I use a lot. So I'm going to click the top corner of that. Poppins is a good one to use when it comes to like the obituary or poems or anything like that. Poppins is a good one to use. Another one is Alice. Alice is a good one to use. A rapey, I believe that's how you pronounce it. That's another good one to use. Cinzel is a good one to use, and Laura. So I'm going to use the Laura font for my written content. Content. All right. I'm going to make sure that I do the same thing all throughout this program so that everything is synchronized. So I'm going to go to Laura, add that font there, with the exception of the order of service page. I'm not going to touch it. Uh, do the same thing here with the poem. I'm going to go up to Laura. Okay, there we have it. Nice. Okay, so with the order of service page, as you can see, we just did the title of the poem, change the font of the poem. I'm going to duplicate this page, and then I'm going to break it all the way down. And let's redesign this. All right, there, we're down to our burgundy background. All right, so making sure that we stay within the same theme of the entire program thus far, I'm going to go up to a previous page. I'm going to click position. I'm going to duplicate that background photo, which is this one here. I'm going to duplicate that background photo and I'm going to bring it on to my new page here, line it up. There we have it. Okay. Excuse me. And again, if you just really don't remember what you use and what order you use it in, you can always go back to the original page of your template and use that as your guide. So yes, I did just drag this background photo down and cover up the gold border. And like I showed you once before, I'm going to go up to position, go to the gold border, go over to arrange, and just bring it back to the front. That just assures that there's not going to be any gaps in between the pages and or elements. Everything it's just all aligned perfectly. All right. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the original page for the poem. Do I want to keep the same theme? I don't think so. I think we're going to do something different. Okay. So I'm going to grab the title, make sure that it's aligned, and it is. Okay. I'm going to go over to elements and no, I'm not going to do it this way. I want to show you how to go look for it. I'm going to put in transparent gradient, go to see all under the graphics tab. And let me see which one did I use for this one. Go to layers. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm not going to go to transparent. I'm just going to duplicate the transparent gradient from this page and bring it down to this one because again, it has all the same colors and everything that we've used before to keep everything synchronized. Okay, all right. Let me just go and look on this previous page to see if there's anything else I want to snag. I don't need that. All right, so there we have it. All right, so as you can see in the previous page, we used the side profile photograph of Sasha, the same one that was used on the cover page and the obituary page and yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, to keep it synchronized, you can still use that particular photo, or you can utilize the forward facing photograph. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go and duplicate this picture. Mm, Let me see where we're going to place this. Hmm, Let's get creative. Hmm, Okay, let's see. I want to flip it. Let's see what happens if we flip it, okay? Hmm, Let's duplicate this and let's flip it horizontally. Keep it in mind the length and the style of this poem. I think I'm just going to keep it the way that it was. So we're going to move this photo over here to the side, just like this. Actually, and let's make it a little larger. Let's just see here. Okay, we can get really kind of funky with this one. Okay. Let me just reduce the size of this photo just a little bit. Okay. Okay. Let's just leave that right there. And let's go up and duplicate our poem. Make sure it's aligned. And it is. Actually, it's perfect. Okay, that's perfect. All right, so let's go and play around with the photo. So let's go to edit photo. And again, I really encourage you just to kind of learn these different elements and these different tools, these apps within Canva. Oh my goodness, there are just so many. Mm, I don't want to use a blur effect. Let's play around with the blur effect. Okay. So the blur effect, um, it kind of diminishes certain areas of the photograph and brings highlight to the other area of the photograph, whatever you choose. So I'm going to click on whole image, kind of give it a little bit of a fade because let's keep in mind Sasha has passed away. Mm, this might not work. Okay, let's just leave that right there. Get out of blur. It adds a little bit of a blur to the image. I want to go to shadows. Mm, I don't know. I don't remember if we used a shadow on the original or not, and we did. So, okay, let's go to back to the edit photo. Go to shadows. The shadow we used was white, and that might be a little too intense. Let's take it down a little bit. Maybe not. Let's just try the glow instead. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, I like that. So let's just move it down. We're going to go over to position, find that gold border, bring it to the front, it's like so, so that it covers up that harsh line of where Sasha's photo was cut off. I think I'm going to add some doves to this. It's a poem about death, passing, transition. And let's see. Go over to my uploads. There are some things I have that you all don't. Let's try this one. All right, so I'm going to go to edit photo, background remover, and let's just see what this does. It's not too bad, but this school of doves may be a little bit too much for this particular page. And it is, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go back over to my uploads. And I'm just going to use this dove for the sake of demonstration. Go to background remover. I'm going to reduce the size of this dove. I'm going to play around with it to make sure that I have it positioned where I want it positioned. Right here, let's go up to position, go over to layers. Our dove is already highlighted. And let's just go and drag this behind the Sasha image because the tail end of that bird will be behind the head. Reduce that size a little bit. I think I'm gonna flip it just a little bit. And there we have it. Alrighty. So I didn't do too much to the poem page that's not as different from the original. But again, we're going to keep the original as well as the newly designed, okay? My scratch paper, I'm gonna delete it. I don't think I need to explain anything when it comes to adding photos in your template. There's a photo grid, drop and drag. Just in case you're not too familiar with really how to utilize that, just go over to your photos, wherever you have your photos saved, click it, highlight it, drop it where you want it. Okay. And I add these to my templates to make it so much easier for people versus them having to crop and arrange and move pictures around and all those different types of things. So I just add the photo grids to my templates, which makes it so much easier for those that are editing the obituary. So I don't think that I need to spend any time here. All right, now we're at the back cover. All righty. I just kind of put this one together. Nothing fabulous, nothing over the top. I put it together. Um, when it comes to the back page of my programs, I like to keep them simple in a sense. Pallbearers, honorary pallbearers, if there are any, flower bearers, if there are any, a special thank you. Most times the families want to write a small insert, special thank you. Sometimes they will acknowledge you as the designer. I've had families to do that. Acknowledging the funeral home, special musicians, or anyone that played a part in the actual celebration of life services. You have that option there for a special thank you. Funeral home arrangements entrusted to. Um, that's important, and again, it's based off the discretion of the families. I have had some families that have said to me, no, I don't want the funeral home information on the back of the program. So again, it's their wishes and I will oblige them. But funeral home information, and like I stated in the very beginning of the program, very seldom, now I will do it, I don't like to, but very seldom will you catch the actual information on the front of my programs for the funeral. Most times, if not all the times, I'm gonna say 99% of the times, after I explain my reasonings to my families, they're okay with it. So what I have done, started to do, is I take that information and I place it onto the back of the program. Friday, May 18th, 11 a.m., All Souls Funeral Home or whatever, Long Beach, California. They have allowed me to put that information on the back. If you are a designer that still operates in the realm of traditionalism and you are adamant about that information being on the front, by all means, knock yourself out. I personally don't like that information on the front. So sometimes, like I stated before, most times it goes on the back of the program or the celebration of life page. I will put final arrangements entrusted to the funeral home, interments here, repass information. I put that there, which opens up a little bit more room on the back for me, especially if a family has honorary pallbearers, flower bearers, whole ministerial team, they have poems and they want pictures. It just all depends. So it opens up so much information for me on the back. All right. So I've duplicated, no, I haven't. I'm going to duplicate this page and I am going to tear this one apart because I don't like it. Sorry, my phone. Okay, I'm going to tear this one apart all the way. Even this. I'm going to take this out of here. Okay, it's all gone. All right, so I'm going to go over to grid view and I'm going to look at the front cover and all the other pages that we've designed. And I'm going to let that inspire me when it comes to the back page. And let me see here. I'm sorry for the silence. I'm just thinking. The back page. Okay, let's do this. All right, so I'm going to go to the template design. I'm going to duplicate this bokeh, bring it down here. Just follow me. I'm going to, you see that it's already positioned at a diagonal. Bring it up a little bit more. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go over to elements. Grab this particular transparent gradient. Remember, this is the one that we are able to manipulate that color. I'm going to bring that at an angle extend this out and make sure it's aligned and change the color on it. Let me see here. Nope. So we're going to use the same color as this background. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to change all because I don't want it to change over. All right. All right, there we go. So I've done that. I want you to understand something. I'm doing something entirely different here. This is this is all off the top of my head right now, real talk. So just bear with me. Let's take this photo. Let's duplicate it. Uh-oh. Mm. First off, I want to get this glow off of here. It's really throwing me off. Okay, let's get that up there for right now. Mm. Mm. Okay, no. All right, I'm gonna duplicate another page, another piece of scratch paper. I'm gonna take this, which is the information that will go on the back of the program, and we're gonna do something entirely different. Okay, so I'm gonna ungroup this. Lord Jesus, be offense. Hold on, let me group this back again. Okay, and now I'm gonna ungroup it. I'm gonna take the pallbearers and I'm gonna move that off to the side. And I'm gonna take the first name, last names, move that off to the side, just like this. You see what I'm doing, just a moment. Move this off to the side. Again, this is just kind of breaking up so much of the traditionalism. And my way of showing you that with a template, you can do whatever it is you want to do with it. Okay? All right. So I have this. All right. Let's highlight this as we're going to group. Go to position. Go to arrange. Tidy up. Group it. All right. Move this off to the side. Actually, let me get rid of this. We're going to duplicate this. Okay. Put your cursor in front of pallbearers. Just click, just type honorary. There you have it. Okay. Let's move these back. They are aligned together, but you can always double check by highlighting it as if you're getting ready to group it. Go to position. If tidy up appears on the sidebar, then you know that it's not aligned. If it does not appear, it's aligned. I'm just going to go ahead and click group. Okay. Special thank you. Special thank you. Okay. I'm going to get the special thank you. And as you can see, it's not properly, what's the word? Is it indented? Aligned. So we're just going to go ahead and move this over to where the words come to the left. That's together. There you have it. Let's highlight it as if we're getting ready to group it. Tidy up did appear. Tidy that up. Okay, so no. What am I doing? Lord God today. Honey, what am I doing? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. Again, you're getting true, authentic discoveries is what we're discovering. Oh no, let's move this back to the center. Okay, move this right here. This is right here. I'm making discoveries. Okay, let's group all this together. Tidy up appeared. Clean that up. Group. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this and place it off to the side of the program because it's my business. What they would tell Brown say, because it's my business. You know what? This isn't working. Mm-mm. What I was trying to do, it's not working for this particular thing. So I'm sorry, but it's not working for this particular thing. So we're just going to stick with the basics. And that's this particular format. I'm going to bring it down, position it, enlarge it, make sure it's centered, and it is. All right. All right. I'm going to go snag these birds. And then birds with the doves. Duplicate this one, bring it over this way. I'm going to flip it, bring it down some, go back over to, go back up to, okay, let's just do this. Go over to your elements, go over to elements, see all for the recently used. And this is where we're going to get creative with this, with the back page of this program. It's a little too harsh. Let's go to grid view, get a full view of what was used here. Okay. So, sorry, these are from other things that I've been working on since. Okay, no, it's not it. And again, if you just really can't find them when you need them in the grid view, you can always snag them and pull them off from a previous page. Oh, let me see something. Get this rose background. Bring it down. I just want to see something. Close this out. Go up to position. Layers. All right. I'm just going to hit backward. Hmm. I mean, not too bad. Let's take the transparency down on it and just kind of see. Okay, I like it. I do. Okay, so what I did was add the rose background to the bottom portion of the page, took it to the back, meaning behind all the different layers that we have on this particular design. And I brought the transparency down. So the reason why I brought the transparency down quite far because you still see this line from the transparent gradient that we use um, to cancel out the separation between the background, the initial background page, and the background that we use. So I took the transparency down on this flower, the flower background, so that it blends perfectly. You're able to see a hint of it. I took it down to about a 13. All right, and I'm okay with that. I am, and yes, it's a lot of different patterns and things going on, but that's okay. You're the artist. All right. All right. So I'm okay with that. I really am. Now I'm gonna go. Let me just move this upward so that I don't have to try to. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to position. I'm going to click this particular page. I'm going to go over to position to layers. And okay, I didn't do it. So we have to go back and add that. I was looking for this like confetti glitter. We can add it to the other page. So we're going to go back and we're going to add it. I'm going to bring this down to right about here. And then we're going to duplicate this page and take it up to the top. And we're working on the back page, remember. I'm going to flip this vertically, drag this up like this, like so. Okay. And I'm going to go over to position to arrange, and I'm going to move it backwards. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom element. I'm going to move it backwards. Okay, all right. Move this down just a little bit. Oh, duplicated. Okay, let's move this down just a little bit. Okay, move this backwards to where it's behind that gold line. All right, everything is looking good. Remember, we also need to add this to this particular page as well. So let's just drag it down. This is where this cleanup comes in. Quality check. All right, so again, go over to position, move it backward. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate this page, that element, take it back up to the front. I'm going to flip it vertically, and I'm going to do the same thing here at the top. Okay, then I'm going to take it backward to where it goes behind that gold line. And there it is. All right. I kind of feel like some more can go off to the side. Oh, I know what I was going to do there. Okay, so I'm going to take this page back into its perspective place. All right. So I'm going to take this photo. We had it before, but I'm going to take this photo and I'm going to bring it here. Hmm. All right. Let's leave it right there. Let me go up to edit photo because I want to take that glow off. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. Oh no. What happened here? Go up to edit photo. Take the shadow off altogether. Okay. I want to show you something. Let's move her down here because move her to our scratch paper because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to reduce the size of this just a little bit for right now. Make sure it's aligned. All right. So again, it's preference. It's your preference. This is something that I have done. It just all depends on what I'm working on, what the vision is for the family, and what I'm capable of doing. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am some top tier obituary designer because I'm not. You'd be surprised to know, truthfully, how long I've been doing this. That's neither here nor there. I digress. Anyway, I'm just a creative naturally. So I like to just allow my creativity to just kind of take over. So let's go over to uploads. In your bundle pack, there were different frames. There were several different frames. Why were there several different frames? I'm getting ready to show you why there were several different frames and what you can do with those frames. Which frame are we going to use? Let's use this one. All right. All right. So we have this beautiful frame. Okay. We're going to go to edit photo, remove the background. Ladies and gentlemen, I just have to pause and let you know that it is 8:55 a.m. currently, Saturday, in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I reside. And our current temperature is 73 degrees, and we're expecting a high of 92 today. So I want to get this done so that I could possibly go outside and play. All right, so I moved the photo of the model behind this frame because as you can see, even though I removed the background, there's still that gray insert inside of the frame. And let's just see if I'm able to do what it is I want to do. We're going to bring her forward, line her up. Mm-mm. Well, let's see, we reduce the size of her picture. Possibly. No, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Let's see. Okay. Don't play with it. Okay. Okay. I'm not opposed to this, but I'm about to do something. And I know somebody's getting ready to say, oh my God, how did you do that? Don't ask me that, please. I don't know if it's going to let me do what I'm trying to do. Mm. I was trying to get her head to just like this. It just might let me. Hold on. It's not. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. And I'm not going. I was trying to do the whole little 3D effect, and I'm not gonna waste any time trying to play with that. All right, so let's just go and grab. I'm not gonna do it. Um, I mean, I'll do it off camera because I now that I have seen the vision, I just cannot not undo it. So let's go and grab a glow. She's subtle. Put that off to the side. I don't think I want something a little bit brighter. Grab a glow. Reduce the size of that glow. I'm going to put that glow right on top of our model. Go up to position. Go over to layers. I'm going to take that and I'm going to move that behind. Look at that there. Move that behind her. Extend it a little bit. There you have it. Let's group this. Group it. It's grouped together. Okay. I'm going to move this off to the side because I don't want to. As a matter of fact, oh, never mind. Okay. Okay. All right, let's move this up and you'll see why in just a moment. Move that up. Okay. All right, I'm going to go over to text. I'm going to grab a heading, bring this down. Sasha, change the color to the blue. I'm going to add the neon effect to it. Change the font. Make this bigger. a little bit. Line it up. Bring it down just a little bit. All right. What was her name? Sasha Lee, what? Sasha Allen. And I use a Senzel for that one. Okay. I'm going to grab a subheading, bring this down. Allen. Now, there is an easier way that you can do this. I just want to let you know. And I'll show you in just a moment. There's a much easier way to do this. Make this Allen a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay. An easier way to do this is just to go to the front page. Okay. Duplicate all this information and just take it down. It's a much easier way to do this. And I didn't do it trying to, I don't know, be fancy. So I'm sorry. But there's a much easier way. So we're just going to take this all the way down. This is one thing about Canva I don't like. There has to be an easier way to do this, but for right now, this is all I know. All right, there it is. So much easier. Even though I was on the right track. Okay, so I'm just going to delete all of this. So we have the Sasha Allen. I'm going to reduce this size. Okay, it's lined up. Now I'm going to go up here. I did see an element that I wanted to use, snag. And that was this. So let me go over to position and I'm gonna find it. There it is. I'm gonna duplicate it and I'm gonna bring it all the way down just like I just brought down the name. I'm just gonna bring it all the way down. All right. And we are almost finished with this. So, let me just say this while I'm wasting time. Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy, be offense, honey, Father God. Is that it? Oh, that is it. Let me just say this while I'm moving this element down. Um, Although my background is in education, I've been an educator for 17 years. I was an educator. I've educated for some of the top hair care and makeup brands in the world for the last 17 years. I've been licensed in beauty for 24, 23, 24 years. Um, so when it comes to teaching, it's nothing new for me. But I wanted to make sure that you all walked away with something, that you all walked away with something. And I am accessible. You have questions, all you have to do is just ask me. I am accessible. I am here to help you. This is something that I'm pretty sure I will do many a times as I design certain templates. Um, so I just wanted to throw that in there. All right, so I've added this kind of arched glow glitter gold element to this, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to bring it behind that frame because I really just want it underneath the name, just like that. See, doing that is going to leave a harsh line. Yeah, that's not what I want. So let's just extend this out. Let's just take this back out. And let's just do it this way. I really want that effect on the name more than anything. Mm, mm-mm, that's not doing it. Okay, that's not going to give me what I want. So I'm going to go over to my elements because I just saw something a few moments ago. I just want to give some spunk and razzle dazzle to the name, honey, because I am all about the razzle dazzles. I am all about The razzle dazzles. Okay. No, I just saw it a few moments ago. Here we go. Here it is. Not here we go. Here it is. All right. Here we are. I'm going to take this. I'm going to move it to the back. Let me just go back up here because this isn't gonna. Oh, it did take it to the back. Okay. All right. And I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to down here at the bottom, and I'm going to take it to the back. Okay. Took that to the back. I'm going to make sure that Sasha is brought to the front. The name Sasha is brought to the front, and it is. Let me just reduce the size of this just a little bit. Um, let's try that. Let's just bring this to the front. Okay. I can get with it. Just like that. Okay. I can. All right. Now let's just go and group all this together. It is grouped. Let's go and move it up here to our obituary, the back cover of our obituary page. Reduce the size. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Mm, okay, let me just take this size down just a little bit more. Honey, wait a minute. Truth be told, what the kids say, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Truth be told, let's just try this. Okay, now let's just move this to the back. I want to see something. I wanted to see something. No, no. Why am I, and I promise you, why am I hearing in my spirit? I'm literally hearing this in my spirit. Someone is saying or is going to say, take that and add that to the poem page. I'm telling you, I literally just heard that. So let's duplicate that page. Let's go here. That page fell. Where'd it go? I'm telling you, I literally heard that. Let's move it over here. Uh, Come on, Campbell. Y'all got to get a little better sometimes. Okay, so it's not gonna let me do that. Okay, let's just move this down. That's a duplicate. I'm telling you, I heard that. I don't know if that's future energy or what. Maybe it was the Lord speaking to me, but I literally just heard that. Why not do this on that other page? So I'm going to delete this main photo. I'm gonna take this here that we just created, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm gonna bring it, bro. Bro. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Ah, let's move this dove to where the tails, the feather tails, feathers on this dove, just kind of. Okay, and let's go over to this poem. And let's see, layers. The poem is right here. Let's just reduce this just a little bit. Okay, let's just take it up just a little bit. And I'm okay, honey. I'm with it. I am. Yes, I'm with it. 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 I can get with this. Okay, let me delete this piece of scratch paper and go over to grid view. because this is the original poem right here. And this is what we've recreated. So I'm going to delete this page. Well, no, I'm not. Let me move it. Okay, let's move it up. Because I'm okay with that. I really truly am. It's a little busy, but it's busy in a good way. Okay, so I'm going to delete this page. It's busy in a good way. All right, and I'm not going to delete that one just yet, but I am going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my uploads. I'm going to snag that photo, that side profile photo of Sasha, and I'm going to, I don't know, for the sake of conversation, I'm going to watermark it in the background. This one. Oh, we don't want to do that. Okay, let me get up out of here. All right, so I'm going to remove the background on this. I'm going to make her large, and we're going to go to position to arrange. And the reason why I suggest arrange is because you can just keep clicking backward until you get your desired position for this photograph. Okay, well, she can't go anymore. So I'm going to take her up. And you know what? Because I see this line right here, which it may not even be necessary at this point. Let's see. And it's not. Well, it kind of is. Okay. Mm, it kind of is, though. Let me go back. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take the first, let's go to the Sasha photo. Go to position, go to the photo, and I'm going to hit edit photo. And I'm going to go over to filters, and I'm going to scroll down until I find one that I like. And I think I'm going to use this amethyst. And let me just try to take the transparency down on that to see what type of effect it gives me. It's beautiful. Let's try minty. I like the amethyst way better. Okay, I'm going to go back to amethyst, but I'm just going to be very honest with you. It's this right here that is driving me nuts. And even if I get rid of it, there's still that line of demarcation right here. But have no worries. This is what we're going to do. Here's another tip. Let's go over to elements, transparent gradient. We're going to see all under graphics. We're going to collect that white one. Remember I told you that white one appears white on the screen, but it's not. We're going to drag that over to where that line of demarcation is. I'm going to go up here and select my color, which is going to be black. I'm going to duplicate until that line is gone. And it is gone. Okay, just that simple. Don't be afraid to use your transparent gradients. Don't be used to use transparencies. Now I'm going to go back up to position, and I'm going to highlight that rose background that we use, and I'm going to take the transparency up on that just a little bit. Ooh, Look at that. Ooh, I love it. All right, I love it. Let's take it down to about a 17. Is it centered? All right, there you have it. Now, if you want to add some different things off over here to the side, by all means do so. Um, by all means do so. You can add over there whatever you want to. Let's just go see what I have over here saved up and recently used to just see. Just add whatever you want to fill in that space if that's what you want to do, because that's your business. It's a little bit too much for me, for my liking, so I'm not going to use that. Let's see if I can find something a little bit more subtle. Mm. See, let me see. Let me get rid of this and let's just see. Mm. Nope. Let's just keep that. So if you want to add something over here again, um, by all means do so. Let me just see what happens if I add a road. Get creative. This is a keepsake. This is a memorial. This is your artwork. Okay, let's just see. Sorry, I think my grandkids trying to call me. See that? That's not. Oh, see, that's not too bad. Sorry, they trying to call me. Take the transparency down on it if you want to. Duplicate it. Move it over here. There you have it. All right, people. So let's just go and do a grid view of designed, the redesigned of the Sasha template. It does reflect 10 pages when it should be 8. Let me go see why. Oh, because it's poem page. Let's get rid of this. All right. So it's going to reflect the 9 because you have the original template cover here, the new design, the beginning of the obituary page, the continuation of the obituary page, the celebration of life page, the silence of the night, the poem page, your 2 pages for your photographs, and your back page. All right, you all, I hope you learned something. Your feedback is going to be greatly, greatly appreciated and needed as it helps me to develop more as an educator teaching this. You have my email address. Some of you have my phone number. I am accessible. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you need some assistance, I'm here to help you. I'm not a gatekeeper. I want to see all of us eat. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for spending this time with me. Be blessed.